Hi everyone, this is Sray. So for today's video, I want to talk about traumas and feeling sorry for those who go through trauma. A lot of us have issues in life. A lot of us have bad things we go through. But that doesn't mean it's okay for us to reenact it. I feel like sometimes we use, for those who have been hurt, we try to put ourselves in their situation and think about, well, they went through a rough childhood and their parent abused them their whole life, so that's why they're abusing me. Yes, that's true, right? That's why they are. But that doesn't mean you have to accept it, because at the end of the day, you have a choice to reenact it or not. So me, I went through SA. Am I committing SA to those around me? No. I like to use the R. Kelly example. If you ever watch a documentary, you can see that his brother talked about it, and they were both SA'd by, I believe, their sister, and R. Kelly went on and reenacted it. The other brother didn't, and he would talk about how there was a situation where his niece was acting how she shouldn't act towards a family member. It was getting a little bit weird, and he's like, no, I'm not going to participate in that, like, you're my family. That's a perfect example of how both people went through very similar things, similar households, similar predator, and one chose to reenact it and one didn't. I will never feel sorry for those who reenact or commit heinous crimes. And it doesn't have to be SA. It can be just verbal abuse, anything like that, or hurting other people and bitter and angry. Because I don't think that what you went through is a good excuse to commit it again. You have a choice to heal. Even if you don't heal, you also have a choice not to do something. Some people just get depressed and just don't live life, but they're not reenacting what happened to them as a child, right? Therefore, I will never sit here and cling on to like, oh, well, this person's hurting me because they've gotten hurt. They were hurt when they were younger. I don't give a flying F what happened to them. I don't care. We can sit here and analyze that that's why they are the way they are, but it still doesn't make it okay. It's still never acceptable to be like, well, I'm going to just tolerate it because they went through it too. I had a bad life. I did. I've gone through very bad things as children. As a child. And I'm not committing it. I'm not doing it again. So there's really no excuse. And the thing is, look, I know it's hard. It's easier said than done, but I did it, so you can do it too. And I did it without therapy, and I did it without support from my parents, from my friends. I literally had the internet. And I had to overcome my traumas to not let it define me and cause me toxic traits in the future. I had to figure that out. And if you want to find a way to do it, there is a way. But never, ever, ever, ever sit there and be like, well, I'm committing SA because it was done to me. I'm beating my children because I was beat lifeless when I was a kid. That's not okay. That's never okay, and I will never sit here and accept that. And I want you guys to realize that if you're also a victim of any type of abuse in any type of way, you don't have to accept it just because they went through it. It's never going to be okay that someone is committing really bad actions towards you. I don't care what they went through. I don't. It's okay to understand what they went through and be like, this is the way it is, but don't sit there and make excuses for them because they didn't have to do that to you. We all still have a choice at the end of the day to reenact what was taught to us. It's harder. Sure, it is. It's harder to heal, and it's harder to not reenact what was taught to us. Just like if our first language was English, it's going to be hard for us to not naturally speak English. But that doesn't, like if we're in another country, but that doesn't mean we shouldn't try to learn new behaviors. And the thing is, You could also just not commit anything and not do anything. You don't even have to heal. You don't even have to be a saint, grow. You can just not do what was done to you and just leave everyone alone. You know what I mean? Like, I was getting whipped my entire life. I might not be the nicest parent where I am consoling them and emotionally supportive of them, but I'm not whipping them. I'm just kind of, let's say I'm neutral. You could do that. That's also a choice. You know, like, it doesn't mean that I should emulate getting whipped and doing that to my child. I can also just not really, like, be there for them emotionally. I'm not saying that's good, but I also don't have to be there negatively. Being there more neutral is probably better than being there negatively. If that's all you can learn how to do is being there neutral and don't know how to be very empathetic and loving, and you're just kind of like quiet, I would rather have that than reenacting the abuse. So there's still, to see, those are 3 choices already, right? Of what you can do, of what happened to you if you dealt with any type of abuse as a child. And I'm specifically speaking to those who are really kind-hearted and you guys love people and you love to, give people a chance and be like, oh, well, I feel sorry for people because they went through X, Y, and Z. Well, I'm here to tell you, I went through similar things to these people and probably worse sometimes, and I am not as bitter and mean as that person, so that person doesn't have to be mean to you. They don't. You don't have to accept it. You don't have to accept their behavior. You're also not responsible to help them heal. I know that's hard, especially if it's a parent or someone you're in a relationship with or someone that you're really close friends with. If they're abusing you emotionally, physically, whatever, it's also not your responsibility to change them. If they don't want to change, they don't want to correct their behavior, it's now your responsibility to take yourself out of the situation, because now you need to prioritize yourself and your mental health. That's what you need to be focusing on. You shouldn't be focusing on healing them and changing them if they don't want to. If they do, great. You can be a support system, but if they don't, I know it hurts, but you might have to let them go. You might have to walk away. I know easier said than done, but you really need to decide that, because if you're deciding to stay, you're not committing self-harm, but you're also not protecting yourself from harm. You're not inflicting the self-harm, but you're allowing yourself to be harmed by staying. So then you're creating your own misery in a sense. You're not the abuser, but you're choosing to stay in that toxic environment because you don't want to leave them for whatever reason, and because you love them, because you care for them, etc. I understand. It's very hard to let people go that we love. But we also have to love ourselves, because they don't love you enough to change. But you need to love yourself enough to remove yourself and put yourself in a healthier state of mind. And it might take you years. And that's okay. But hopefully the end goal is to get out of that toxic situation and find yourself a better situation that, if you're not flourishing, at least you're not piling on the hurt. You owe that to yourself. And at the end of the day, we really just have to be our biggest motivator and our biggest friend before we're a biggest friend to someone else. If we're not looking out for ourselves, nobody might be looking out for us ever. That's just kind of how it works sometimes. We would love, of course, there's some people, you guys have the luxury of having family members that look out for you. I'm very happy for you. But there are some people that don't get to have that, and we need to look out for ourselves. We need to fend for ourselves and learn how to be independent and learn how to find healthy situations to be in, because we need to flourish mentally. We need to have peace. We deserve happiness too. You do deserve happiness. We all do. So yeah, I really want to remind everyone around us that, I'm really sick and tired of the whole, well, they're a bad person because their parents were bad. Yes, but they don't have to reenact it. Nobody has to reenact it. They literally can just do nothing. but they didn't even choose to do nothing. They're choosing to cause harm to others. So I understand you have a kind heart and you're a sweet person and you want to empathize, but start to empathize yourself first and be like, I deserve the kind of care that I give to others. I deserve this type of love. So I'm going to provide it and put myself in a situation where I can attract it, whether it means with you or without you. I don't have too much else to say about this topic, but I am just here to remind us that our actions, our traumas don't define us. We define who we are and what we choose to do next, whether we choose to heal or not heal or not inflict pain on others. That's the choice. And don't let any of our traumas define who you are, how you behave. You, at the end of the day, have a choice as well. And that's where we take power back into ourselves and, you know, I know it's cliche, but be the pilot of our own life. And I'm speaking to those, stop feeling sorry for people who hurt you just because they were hurt in their lives. You deserve better. So thank you for listening. I hope you have a nice day. Bye.